Hello, my YouTube friends. This is the ambassador coming to you with a very, very serious subject today. Okay, I don't usually do these kind of videos, but this is certainly something that has to be talked about because the candidate for president, Bernie Sanders, has such a full agenda for pretty much everyone except people like me. Okay, Bernie is saying that he will allow 50,000 people at the border in his first year. Okay, then he's going to stop ICE, and he's going to give all these 50,000 people welfare. He has such a far left agenda, which I believe in helping everyone. But Bernie Sanders has no agenda for people like me. And it seems to me that none of the candidates on the Democratic Party have an agenda for black people. Only, what was her name? Marianne Williamson. She was the only one that had anything to say about blacks when blacks have been hurting for a long time in this country because nothing has happened for us. Bernie Sanders is willing to go the limit. And I see nothing wrong with helping people. But it's going to put other people lower and lower on the totem pole. To let 50,000 in the first year and give them welfare, total welfare, when they always talk about blacks on welfare, and we know that there's more whites on welfare, food stamps, than there are blacks, because blacks are only 13% of the population. And quite a few blacks I'm sure have jobs. So it can't be more black people on welfare. So in some states, blacks are only 5% of the population. So who are the other 95%? And how many of those are on welfare? So basically, Bernie Sanders has a far left agenda that will not help African Americans at all. As a matter of fact, we already need jobs. And there's always something said about blacks being on welfare, and there's really not that many on welfare compared to a lot of other people. But we know for the first year that Bernie Sanders is going to allow 50,000 people in at the border, which I agree with. Stop this caging children and all this separating families. I mean, that to me is just a little bit extreme. But like I said, Bernie Sanders has no agenda for blacks, or any other race for that matter. So, what are we going to do? Who are we going to vote for? I know one thing, that as soon as all these people can come in and get on welfare, it's going to start a real big problem, because it just is. Where's all this money coming from? Oh, yeah. Where's all the money coming from for this? And if that's just the first year, what's going to happen the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that? Well, blacks, I'm telling you, there is no agenda for you under Bernie Sanders. I usually, like I say, don't do these kind of videos, but why not help everyone? All you want to do is get into office by pandering to people who can vote for you, and you take the black vote for granted. I'm not so sure it's going to happen like that this time. But anyway, we have to find somebody who wants to help everybody, not just one group of people who are not even legal. So that is pretty much the Democratic agenda anyway. Not just Bernie, but they're pandering. They want votes. That's what it's about, people. It's about votes. And if there's no agenda for black people, Bernie Sanders says no reparations. Okay? Elizabeth Warren says, what did she say? She said, for what? Reparations for what? And she claims to be Indian. But reparations for what? People, there's no agenda for the African Americans. As we are beginning to wake up to the fact that we are just not included. But you know what? God is watching. He's watching every bit of what is going on. So I really don't like to bring God into something like this, but He did create everybody equal, but certainly nobody is being equal on this planet. So there's going to be a lot to be held accountable for when you stand before the God of the universe and say you did nothing for black people. Matter of fact, you didn't care about black people. So, I'm telling you, we are not voting for anyone who doesn't have an agenda for black people. We're not just going to go along to get along anymore. Okay? So, no hard feelings. I love everyone. Why? Because I'm commanded to. And I do what I'm supposed to do when it comes to keeping God's laws. Okay? So, no agenda for black people. Kamala Harris doesn't have an agenda for black people either. Biden's crime bill was unbelievable. So I don't see how he's going to help black people. So that's what's happening, people. And just to go out and vote Democrat, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. They're going to have some kind of agenda for all the black people who are out of work right now. Yes, and the more immigrants come in here, the less jobs we have. Also, what is happening is that African Americans are being run off the jobs, fired from the jobs, to get the cheap labor in. What kind of country is this? Is there any fairness at all? Like I said, I don't usually do these kind of videos, and it really breaks my heart. But we cannot continue to vote for people who don't have an agenda for us at all. And God help the American Indian. Unbelievable. Bernie talks about his parents came over here without a nickel in their pocket. Well, my ancestors who were slaves didn't have a nickel in their pocket either. Okay? So, like I said, I don't really like to be political. That's really not in my blood to be a political person. But this is just plain unbelievable. So he's going to stop ICE, keep the sanctuary cities. Yes. Quiet. I got some background here. I'm sorry. So, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. So in that case, it's going to be a lot of poor of all races that won't have jobs and will be at the low part of the totem pole because of this agenda of letting all these people in at the border. And God knows I feel sorry. I don't believe in these people being in cages and not getting fed. The children are hungry. It's just all a mess. It's like a mess that almost cannot be fixed. Because the people who can fix it just don't care. But there's more people in the country that need help as well. What about all the homeless people all over America? They need to have a place to live. They need welfare. What is going on? Okay, I'm almost done. Yes, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, none of them have an agenda for the African American who is suffering right now. Other people are suffering right now. Poor people are suffering. Homeless people are suffering. And he wants to bring all these people in 1 year? What's he going to do the second year and the third year and the fourth year? I don't know what to say. All I can say is the agenda is on a roll. Whatever it is they're working out, they are trying to work it out. So, this is the ambassador saying to you, peace and love. See ya.